Hello and welcome to the 10-Minute Dungeon. Today the dungeon is brought to you by Glitter D. Hello, my name is Daniel Hodges, writer and designer of Faith and Victoria, and you can find out more about me and my games at buzzardgaming.com. But you didn't come here to hear me talk about myself, you came here for a 10-minute dungeon. So let's get started. First of all, we will grab up our words, because that's the way we do. Alright, so our words are today dressing, drown, deter, and day. And then we get our timer started. Started the opposite way around. It's time to give myself a few extra seconds. Is that cheating? I don't know, you'll have to decide that for yourself. Anyway, so dressing, drown, sounds vaguely like Hamlet. Dressing, drown, deter, and day. Alright, dressing, drown, deter, and day. I've already got that off the top of the screen so you can't see it. Okay, dressing, drown, deter, and day. Alright, so dressing, deter, drown, and day. Alright, so, oh yeah, we're going to festival. Festival of the drowned, I don't know, Festival of the Drowned, who knows. Anyway, festivals are great things to do to sort of set the scene. There's people come into town and see what's going on, and then you can embroil them in stuff going on. So Festival of the Drowned, we don't know what that's going to be yet, Festival of the Drowned. So I don't have time to talk about it too much, but I guess I'm going to take the time. So obviously, if we're going to have a festival, we need to have a whole bunch of tables around the place, okay, which is cool. I know there can be all sorts of different things there going on, and this festival is going to culminate, and we have a well in the middle, I guess. We had a well before. I feel like I might have drawn something similar to this before, but maybe not. Anyway, so we've got this well in the middle of our festival, and we're going to have a big lake over here, right? And this is the festival of the drowned man, we'll say. Okay, and so if you like the idea of a randomly generated festival, part of my collection, which is the name of a whole bunch of stuff that I put together, it has how to generate a festival off the cuff, but I'm doing one just off the cuff, but without dice. So, Festival of the Drowned Man. So this is going to culminate in a stranger being drowned. Yes. Stranger gets drowned. Okay, that sounds pretty sinister. Question is, do they? So maybe the characters are going to come along. They're going to try and deter the villagers from drowning someone. But we need a bad guy. So who's the bad guy here? Obviously, that's going to be the leader of the town. Leader of the town, we'll say, is Elbreth. I don't know where that name comes from. Maybe it's the name of somebody that's already there. So Elbreth is a chat, and you have to drown. They drown. They dress them as the king. So Elbreth is the leader. Dress a stranger as the king and drown them. I'm going to put some speech marks around here. Maybe we'll take those away later on. Maybe we won't. I don't know. Dress them as the king and then drown them. Okay. And so maybe there's already somebody in custody. Someone is already incarcerated. There's somebody who is already incarcerated, and then this is the lake. Okay, so they're going to dress them up in this gown, and they're going to drown them. Okay, so when the characters come to the festival, okay, so the opening there is like festival. Oops, I can't spell. Festival. Element 1 is joy. Element 2 is smells like tasty food. And element 3, we're going to have some sad-looking people. incongruous. Like, why are there these sad people there? That's a good question. Right, so that's maybe going to be like the talk part of what's going on. So they're going to wander around the place and try and figure out what's going on. Sneak is to talk to or release captive. And the bad guy, maybe it's not Elbreth. Maybe the Elbreth is the leader. You know what? Elbreth is actually, he's the one in jail. And there's a bad guy. Oh, I like it. It's coming together now. Okay, so the bad guy is, we'll call him, I don't want to call him Guy of Gizman. Let's call him Charles. Charles is the sheriff. Well, I don't want to say sheriff. No, we'll say sheriff. Whatever. You got the idea. Okay, so he's some kind of minor official who's in charge of this type of stuff. His primary trait will be he's brutal and dismissive. And the secondary trait is that he is controlled by the king. So he's sort of become that way, I guess. Maybe you could say that he's like just following orders, if you want to get that sort of thing. Drive is to pass on the pain. The pain is caused by the king, from the king. Descriptors is handsome, well dressed. Moves, tags are threatening. With word of king. Sidekick, we're going to say is a page. Boy. Okay, don't know much about him. He's being brutalized as well. Basically, Charles is getting a child to be much like him. His drive is to escape. We'll just say we'll go with the trope with parents. Captive. That's king. Okay, finale is going to be a fight with Charles. Okay, so going back over here, so Elbreth is in the jail, so the leader has the responsibility to be sacrificed if no stranger is found. Okay, so basically they're responsible. They've got to get somebody to be sacrificed. I know, why does the king require this? They've got to be dressed like the king. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're not dressed like the king. Maybe they're dressed like somebody or else. Stranger gets drowned, dressed as a sorcerer. No, better. Ranger. So at one point, there was a range that went around the place, sort of Robin Hoodish, I guess the story is, and they were the enemy, and so they're going to get drowned to show that there's no, to show that there is no mercy. Like the king is like, we've got to keep the civilization down. Okay, so the bad guy is Charles. Let's get some of this done. Okay, so the plan is going to be to free Elbreth. It's going to be a fight with, first of all, with guards, because Charles has some guards. Guards of Charles. Okay, overall the theme is going to be justice. And we want to have a tag, the right thing. Okay, so the tag is the right thing, right? Tough decision. Elbreth die for greater good. So if push comes to shove, like his Elbreth is going to end up dying. The treasure is going to be the death of Charles. And what's next? Well, if the king's going to be mad with him, right? to have to escape. Okay, and the title, I think we've already got that, right? Festival of the Drowning Man. And there's a nice piece of thematic work there. Because the drowning man is actually Charles, the sheriff. Like, he's drowning in this idea of who it is that he needs to be. So the fight with Charles element, like maybe on a platform in the lake. And if you can read this, you're a better man than me, but I will upload the one that you can read. Here's a platform right there. Did it. 10-minute dungeon. All right, so came together in the end, and there is your 10-minute dungeon. If you want to hang around for the post-game show, you will be able to hear me talk about that a little bit more. I'm going to tidy up some of those details, a little bit less time pressure, but I think we got there. Once again, we're outdoors. I don't know why I end up outdoors when it says it's a dungeon, but anyway, there's your 10-minute dungeon, and I'll see you next time for the letter E. And until then, keep talking the walk. Alright, and welcome to the post-game show, the 10-minute dungeon post-game show. I think, yeah, that was a tough one. I think we actually hit all four things that we've got: dressing, we've got drown, we've got deter, and we've got day. They all played their part. So yeah, I think we did it. It took us a little bit of time to strike gold, but again, I maintain that having those creative constraints, in this case time and the words, is a good thing. So let's do a little bit of tidying up, and we'll make it so people can read what's on there, and we will maybe join some dots. Alright, so looking now at our thing, at our overall sort of summary. Festival of the Drowning Man, I can barely read that. Okay, so once again, what I was sort of saying before was that if you have if you want to have a look at some of the stuff that I do, well, some of the stuff that I've written, one of the things is creating festivals. I think festivals are a great way to get people interested in what's going on in your game. Like, just because they can show up anywhere on the road, if people don't know where they're going, and you can have weird stuff happening. So Festival of the Drowning Man. And there's all kinds of stuff that can go along with these festivals, but I think that it's a good way to add some colour, a good way to add a little bit of interesting sort of interest, something a little bit out of the ordinary, break up a journey with a nice festival. So the treasure is going to be the death of Charles, right? So there's no, strictly speaking, treasure for these people, but for the characters, I should say. But I think that overall, if they can knock off Charles, the world will be a better place when they're done. So what's going to happen, obviously, is what happens next is like the king's going to be mad. King is mad because I can't write cause. My mother would not stand for that. I'm going to put an apostrophe on there, but because Charles is dead, Charles was killed. Okay, so the components are sneak, we're going to talk to / release the captive, which we decided after all was Elbreth. What is going on, so there's going to be a lot of role players trying to figure out what's going on there. People may be reluctant to talk about it because it's dangerous, so I'm going to say dangerous to talk. Okay, so the plan is to free Elbreth, so they're going to try and figure out some way to free Elbreth. And like, I feel like maybe he could be tied up or something like that. Maybe he's tied up out at the end of this walkway on the lake. I don't know. So there's going to be guards of Charles. So the plan, he's tied up in full view. So that's going to make it really hard to get Elbreth away if he's tied up in full view. So the guards of Charles, the opening is a festival, so there's going to be joy, there's going to smell like tasty food, sad people in Congress. So we're going to have sad people, also fearful people. Okay, looking now at Charles. He is the sheriff, so he's got to go around once a year and make sure that this festival takes place. You can decide if it's just this town this time, or whether it's a different town every time, or in fact every town. It sounds strange, but there you go. So brutal and dismissive. He's also loud. I think maybe he really finds it. So he might be like a Gaston character, maybe from Beauty and the Beast. So I'm going to say Gaston-ish. Right. So he's brutal, dismissive, loud, well-dressed, maybe. Okay, that might go along with that. So he's controlled by the king. Oh, we've already got that well-dressed part. We can take that out of there. Controlled by the king, so the secondary trait. So like he's decisive, as long as he's working within his purview, maybe. Drive is to pass on the pain. So I'm not sure quite whether maybe he's like a Theon Greyjoy type character. Maybe he's like a ward of the king. So he's going to pass on the pain of being taken away from his parents. He's handsome, he's well dressed, he's moving, he's threatening with the word of the king, right? So he justifies uses the word of the king as his way to sort of enforce the law. So threatening, using the word of the king. Okay, so he's going to threaten, use the word of the king, and he is the sidekick is a page boy. We'll call them. Oh, I know. We're going to call this person May. What can you think? Mark. Maybe Mark, the page boy, is actually a page girl, and she is looking for vengeance. Maybe that adds an extra little element to it. That's just totally optional. You might want to do that. Maybe actually an avenging girl. Okay, maybe actually an avenging girl. I'm thinking about that because that's sort of a big. It's quite a plot detail. So that might actually be an avenging. What's going on here? Might actually be. Goodness me. Might actually be an avenging girl. This apparently when I tried it. Oh my goodness, what's happening? Oh, look at that. Why didn't you tell me? Okay, so might actually be. Oh, it's stayed up there. Might actually be an avenging girl. All right, there we go. That was weird, wasn't it? Escape. Parents are captive with the king. So maybe she hates Charles as a consequence of that. So she wants to try and kill Charles or something like that. Maybe. So the finale is a fight with Charles on a platform, and you can even read that. I was running short of time there. On a platform. You can't read that. Really running out when I was writing that. Platform. In the lake. Okay, so we go over here to our thing. So here's our lake. Here's our platform, I guess. Here's the maybe this is where the this is maybe where Elbeth is tied up. Okay, and Elbeth will be dressed like Elbeth is dressed like maybe like a ranger, right? So the stranger gets drowned dressed as a ranger. Like, and you'll have to come up with some kind of a cool name for this this whoever it was that was it's kind of like this Robin Hood type character. I can do that. Let's see if we can come up with that. So the ranger is Gerald. That sounds too much like Gerald, doesn't it? Let's not do that. So we'll say Harold the Green. Green because of how he dressed, and green because he hung out in the forest, sort of like I say, sort of a Robin Hood rip-off type character. And yeah, so let's take a look. Let's take a quick spin through that and see if we've got it all sorted out. So the overall title is the Festival of the Drowning Man, or if you wanted to make it shorter, you could just call it like the Drowning Man. The Drowning Man. And like I said, you can make the connection over here, this nice sort of connection to Charles, right? He can be the drowning man, like he's got all these responsibilities and stuff, and he's trying to swallow down this life that he's found himself in. So as I've said before, like I think it's nice to have I think it's nice to create not necessarily a sympathetic villain, but a villain with motivations which are understandable. So he wants to pass on the pain, so he's gonna be sort of vaguely cruel, I think. I mean, you can make him cartoonish if you like, you don't have to. Anyway, so Elbreth is going to, so the tough decision is Elbreth to die for the greater good. I'm not sure exactly how you're going to do that. You may have to find a way to get Elbreth involved in that to create the tough decision. But I think Elbreth definitely is prepared to die for the greater good, so you have to sort of find a situation. Maybe if a character blows a roll when it comes to the final fight on the boards, then because they blow the roll, the downside of that is that Elbreth steps in, and compensates for this problem of blowing the roll by sacrificing himself for the greater good. So yeah, I think overall we have it pretty well sorted out. I think that there's a couple of opportunities to fight. Obviously, Charles has got his guards there. He's got his guards with him. So that'll be like a minor fight somewhere along the way. You may end up some sort of a battle with the maybe there's some guards out here on the lake, guards. So maybe the guards here can be, maybe there'll be a fight between the characters and the guards at some point, and they can so that they can replace Elbreth with one of the characters maybe, so it can be a surprise type situation. But anyway, yeah, I think we've got that, and we'll finish there. So thanks for hanging around for the post game show, and like I say, tune in next time for the letter E. See you later.